Jamie Lee Komorowski was more than 3 times over the legal limit during crash that killed a bride. So let's check this out. An alleged drunk driver, Jamie Lee Komorowski, had a blood alcohol concentration level of more than 3 times the legal limit during the car crash that killed newlywed bride Samantha Hutchinson, with the suspect telling cops she did nothing wrong. And by the way, just to keep this in mind, there's literally no excuse to drive and be drunk at the same time because Ubers exist, Lyft exists, calling a friend exists, calling a family member exists. Hell, even calling the cops and telling them why personally I wouldn't do this, but you could technically probably just call a cop and say hey, I'm too drunk to drive. I don't feel safe. Can someone please pick me up? Right? And they might pick you up, right? And if things go good for you, you may not have to face anything. But still, there's literally no reason to drink and drive. So Komorowski, 25, had a BAC level of 0.261 when she allegedly slammed her car into a golf cart. Hutchinson, 34, was driving in with her new husband in Folly Beach, according to a toxicology report from South Carolina police. The former taco eatery waitress was allegedly so intoxicated during the crash that she appeared confused, telling responding officers, "All of a sudden something hit me," and repeatedly saying, "I did nothing wrong," according to the incident report. The report, filed by Folly Beach Police Sergeant Zach Halpern, reveals that Komorowski admitted to having 2 drinks an hour before the accident, a beer and a tequila pineapple. When Halpern asked how drunk she was between a scale of 1 to 10, he said he heard her mumble that she was at an 8 before demanding a lawyer. When the responding officers tried to administer a sobriety test, Komorowska refused, yelling for her boyfriend as police noted that she appeared to try to hide her eyes from them. When Halpern tried to help her out of the car to check her balance, the officer noted she had trouble standing on her feet, but Komorowski claimed she was fine. And apparently this is the bride that died, which is sad because you have 2 people that just got done basically celebrating this massive life change, right? Where you're combining 2 lives together. And now the husband doesn't have her. He's all alone now. So he's injured, which okay, he's injured, but literally the person that he was you know what, I want to marry you, is just gone. Just gone. Crazy to me. Halpern's report also claimed Komorowski was dazed at the scene of the crash, calling for her boyfriend at one moment and then suddenly screaming after looking back at the wreckage. Halpern noted that Komorowski was clearly confused when he was arresting her, as the officer had to repeat his reasoning 3 times after she refused to get in the back of his patrol car. This is a clear indication of someone who's intoxicated is to repeat over and over after their question has already been answered, Halpern wrote in the report. Oh. Komorowski was driving in her rented Toyota Camry. So officials say Komorowski was going 40 miles per hour over the 25 mile per hour speed limit in her rented Toyota Camry along a poorly lit residential street when she slammed into the newlywed slow-moving vehicle, which was thrown 100 yards on impact and rolled over several times. So basically, she was going 65 in a 25 zone. God. Samantha was declared dead at the scene, still wearing her white wedding dress. Wait, was this literally the night of the wedding? Hold up. Was this the night of the wedding? Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, so Hutchinson was reportedly killed by Jamie Lee Komorski, an alleged drunk driver, while the bride and groom exited on a golf cart shortly after their wedding reception Friday night. Like, this is like, this day was basically their happiest day in their lives, and one of them is gone forever. All because someone was too stupid to just call someone to drive them or pay someone like 20 bucks to drive them to some place or 40 bucks. Like, I don't understand why people drink and drive. Like, you put yourself at risk, you put other people at risk for what reason? Like, there's like literally no excuse for it at all. Now, obviously, when you're drunk, you're not going to be thinking clearly, but at the same time, you can't excuse it, right? Like, you literally ended a life. So Komorski, who is not injured in the collision, isn't that kind of crazy? So you literally have the person who is just plastered, not injured, after severely injuring someone and killing someone. So they was arrested and charged with 3 counts of DUI involving death or seriously bodily injury and reckless homicide. So remains jailed in North Charleston, having been denied bond. Feel free to give your thoughts on this. I'm going to be checking out some of these comments on this article. By the way, cute dog over there. But this is kind of like a situation where if you have never drank alcohol before, don't touch it, right? Because the cost of drinking alcohol may not really seem like much, but it does cost quite a bit of money, and this is like more of like a finance channel, but like it costs money to drink alcohol. Not to mention, you're not going to feel great the day after. Not to mention, by the way, you might end up going to jail for intoxication or committing some sort of crime while underneath the influence of alcohol. Also, you're basically rotting out your brain. Like, there's so many negative financial aspects of this where if you care about having a good bank account, if you care about staying out of jail, if you care about potentially not harming people, stay away from alcohol because you're not going to make the best decisions while drinking. So let's see some of these comments. Man, a lot of comments. Glad she was denied bond. Sleep with the victim for a year and call it even. That's pretty disgusting. Her obvious guilt aside, I would just like to know where the golf cart was when struck. Could the two victims been drinking in our community in South Florida? You see children driving golf carts at dusk, no lights, a fatal accident waiting to happen, and then will the parents auto shift the guilt to the driver? The thing is, I understand where this comment is coming from, but the driver hit them while going 40 miles per hour, allegedly, over the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. So even if the husband and wife, the newlyweds, were drinking as well, they still would not be at fault because the person that hit them broke the law and hit them, right? Like hit them basically head on, basically, like from like that amount of damage. It's like it's brutal. But you were speeding. You were speeding while heavily plastered. She did nothing wrong. She survived. That was wrong right there. I think her punishment should be exactly what she dished out. No. We had a young gal like this one kills 3 college students in my county. She got sentenced to 30 years in prison. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't think this girl is going to get 30 years, but she probably will get at minimum like 10, right? Due to the amount of alcohol in her system, her actually causing someone's death, her severely injuring someone, etc. And also, it really depends whether or not she's going to be admitting guilt to this. But this is bad. Like, this is, you basically have someone who's a pretty young individual who just literally ruined the rest of their lives because of this. And also ruined the lives of newlyweds because one of them is not even going to be alive at all. But also, I guess it depends on how good her lawyer is. If she comes from money or if she has a lot of money and she can hire a very, very good lawyer, who knows? Maybe she won't even get 10 years. Maybe she'll get 5 years. Maybe she won't even get any time and just get probation. But I think that she's probably going to serve probably about 10 years. Driving while intoxicated is not so much a mistake, but one of the most selfish choices a person makes. Totally self centered, this young lady needs to be held accountable with the maximum amount of jail time possible. During that time, she could receive counseling treatment, which she could also attend after her jail time is over. Hmm. Yeah, this is just sad. Sad. Like, here's the thing, if you're someone who does drink, or wants to drink, or do anything like that, spend the 20 or 40 bucks for a decent Uber to take you home or to a safe place. Like, there is no reason to be driving while you're drunk. Even slightly buzzed, don't do that. Even if you were to drink something maybe a few hours before where you think that you maybe got it out of your system, everyone's different in terms of like how fast the body will like filter alcohol. But it's just better to just not even go the route of driving with any amount of alcohol in your system. Like, man, that sucks.